Alright, so now we're going to begin bleeding the clutch on a Nissan 300ZX Z32. Now I've replaced the master cylinder and I've replaced the slave cylinder, so it should be the only thing left to do is bleed the clutch. So, with that being said, what you want to do is you want to start at this bleeder spot, if you have this. Some people have deleted it, but you're going to start here. I have a rubber hose attached to it and going into a bucket so it's not just spraying it all over my engine bay. And once you eventually get all the air out of this, you're going to come down here and bleed it from the slave cylinder. Of course it's dark, there it is. You're going to bleed it from the slave cylinder. So I will start doing all that. And what you're going to want to do to begin with is just to make sure all the bleeder screws are closed. And if you're doing this alone like I am, what you're going to have to find is some sort of contraption to hold the pedal to the floor. So that's what I have this right here. This is just right here, and it's in a piece of wood that is wedged up against the seat to hold the pedal down. Now, I'm going to take this out because I don't need that at the moment. What you're going to want to do is, and you should be able to do this for a while because there shouldn't really be any resistance for a while, but you just want to pump it quite a bit, and then once you feel you've done enough, you wedge it to the floor. It'll become more difficult to wedge it to the floor like this, but you want to wedge it to the floor and then go to your bleeder screw and then open it and then close it, and then come back to your pedal and repeat. So as you can see, I cracked the bleeder screw open and closed it. I didn't make a video, but I'll make a video next time around. And all this nasty clutch fluid came through. My plan is to keep going until new fluid is coming out, because I want to get as much of this old crap out as possible. Because the general service is supposed to be you flush this, any sort of .3 system, you flush it every 3 years. And I know this hasn't been done every 3 years, so I just want to go ahead and get everything out of it and maybe prolong the life of the system just a little bit more. The system just being the hard lines, because obviously I'm replacing the master cylinder and the slave cylinder at the moment, but you just want to try to prevent corrosion as much as possible. So now I'm going to go back inside the car, pump it up again, and same procedure, and then break it loose. One thing to also mention is you want to keep fluid in your master cylinder. Right now I'm good, but probably after the next time I crack open the bleeder screw, I'm going to want to make sure there's still fluid in it. And if it gets below the minimum, definitely, because you don't want to start sucking up air in there, and then you pretty much have to restart the whole bleeding procedure, because once you've pumped air through it, then you got to make that air bubble travel all the way through the system and back over to there, down to the slave. So that is what you got to make sure. So now I'm here at this bleeder screw again. Gonna, woo! Almost popped the line off there. And the biggest pain is just trying to get this wrench over the line. I have to hold you with my chin for a second. I don't even know if I'm videotaping it, but alright, so I got it on there. Now just crack it open, and you see all that travel through. You even heard it. Nice little air bubble. That's something that I was not hearing, and you want to close it. That's something I was not hearing the other day, or actually just yesterday, whenever I replaced the slave only. So it was definitely my master cylinder that failed. So it's good to see that something's happening. As you can see, it's gotten pretty low, so I'm going to go ahead and put some more brake fluid in it and continue on. So this is probably the 8th time of me pumping and bleeding. And as you can see, I have pedal, but I'm continuing because what comes out of that line is pretty much just black sludge. So I'm going to try to get as much of that out of there as possible and get clean brake fluid running through it. So yeah. Alright, and then once clean fluid starts coming out of the top bleeder, you can go ahead and come down here after what feels like a decade and a half and come to this bleeder screw. Same procedure, you pump it up, you have something hold the pedal down, preferably a person, and then you can actually already see it looks like I got close to full extension on the slave. So I'm gonna set it right here so you can see what happens. And nothing except the slave slowly sinking back in, ever so slow. Oh god, there we go. So now you tighten that back up, and you just want to continue doing this until it is for sure a solid stream coming out of this, because you don't have to re-bleed this. I mean, I felt that starting to round. That was probably because I was tightening it. So there's a little bit. There's a little bit of a bulge there, almost like it was some air in it. But tighten it back up. And do it again. Alright, so after just a few short years of bleeding, I now have full pedal. Pretty solid, a lot more solid than it was before, at least it feels like with my hands, which isn't saying much. And clear fluid running out of both bleeder ports. So it's been flushed, now it's been bled. Now it's the time to drive it and make sure it's all working properly. Alright, so now I've replaced it. As you can see, I'm in gear and clutch in, so it's not going anywhere, which is a good sign. One thing I noticed right away is that it has a much lower engagement point, which makes me think that all this has been failing all along, since I got the car pretty much. But it feels a lot better. Everything works a lot better. I'll just say the car is made better now. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped you. It helped me for sure. So be sure to like and subscribe if this helped. Let me know what you think. Thank you.